Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip-hop. Make sure you go on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, type in PoPolitickin, list some of our interviews since 2008. 1-2-1-2 place to be with professional boxer Daniel Bailey. How you doing, bro?
I'm feeling good, How you doing?
I'm great, man. My boy, homie Green, shout out to Green. He said you the future.
Yes, sir. Coach Green, good people's right there.
So where you from?
I'm from Miami, Florida. I live out here in Colorado Springs for right now because I was boxing for the Army.
Okay. So you in the Army?
Yeah, I'm still in the Army. I have about 4 or 5 months left, and then I'm transitioning out, and then I'm going to move to Vegas.
Well, Mayweather? Were you going to be with Mayweather and them or what?
Now, I'm signed with a manager that's on Freddie Roach's nephew at Fight Locker, Ryan Roach. Once I move to Vegas, I just want to get seen by somebody. And I want to my talent to continue growing, so I want to get up there with them dogs and just keep working. And then eventually somebody, a top promoter, assign me. But if Floyd want to sign me, he offered me the right amount, and he willing to like guide me in the right direction. That's definitely a route I'll take.
So what's your MOS now?
92 Golf Cook.
So how does that work with your like training and stuff?
So as far as when I was in the Army about a year and a half ago, I was in a world class athlete program. So I was exempt from doing my MOS.
Okay.
And all I would have to do is train. And then up until this year, I just started doing my MOS. But about when this whole COVID situation started happening, I got pulled, and basically all I have to do now is show up for accountability, and then the rest of the day I'm preparing to get out and training.
So you like Joe Louis now, huh?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about myself right now. Joe Louis, I'm like Ray Robinson.
I would say so. Just let me know your background. Let me know how you got involved in boxing.
I started boxing at the age of 14. I started boxing at the age of 14, but I started learning at the age of 11 from a Cuban neighbor who lived across the street. Once I got into a regular gym at the age of 14, I just kept going. Like in Miami-Dade, like people think it's just a vacation spot. But it's really like a lot of ghettos. So it'll be boxing gyms in the area that they'll close down, but they'll leave other boxing gyms open in different neighborhoods in Miami. So what my coach did was he just basically made a way for me to go to the next gym. So I would take a bus, train in another bus to go to the gym every day. I had to do the same thing to go back every day, but I kept doing it for all these years, and it just paid off for me at the end.
Yeah, I remember even with ain't that what like Miami Kimbo Slice and Game Bread, like the underground fighting is out there too, huh?
Yeah, that's what really started getting big out there. Kimbo Slicing, he was I think his manager was Icy Mike, if I'm not mistaken. I was about to sign with him at first, but it didn't go right. But shout out to Icy Mike, good people.
So you was doing underground fighting?
Nah, I wasn't doing underground fighting. Icy Mike was going to transition into boxing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how long? Wait, you say you started? How old? What year you started?
I started learning at 11. And I started competing at 14.
Damn. So how old are you now?
I'm 24, and I got about 100 amateur fights. I'm 85 and 15. I was in the top 10 of the amateurs for the last 4 or 5 years. Like I've been in the top 10 like out the gate. Like after my first year amateur boxing, I was already ranked 4th in the country. And then I ended up going to the Junior Olympics and winning nationals a few times, things like that.
What's your weight class?
Right now I'm boxing at my pro debut, which is next week, November 7th, will be at 130. But I'm going to campaign at 122 once I get settled in Las Vegas.
Okay. I would say, what would you say, like, do you think, how many amateur fights should somebody fight before they go pro?
It depends on the fighter and the weight class, really. Because I feel like bigger guys, they don't need as many amateur fights because of the slow tempo. You know, like heavyweights, guys like that, those guys could get away with having 20, 30 amateur bouts. And they could be real productive in professional ranks. But as far as smaller guys, 140 and below, I feel like those guys need a little bit more amateur fights and a little bit more seasoning because it's not that much power. So you got to be fast and you got to be agile and elusive and things like that. You don't need that too much as a heavyweight because, like, for example, Seth Mitchell, who was like, I forgot, he started taking L's now, but he was about 16-0 at first coming out. He only had about 10 amateur bouts, and then Deontay Wilder, he had like at most like 20, 30 amateur bouts, and made the Olympic team and won a bronze.
So who's some of your top 5 boxers?
Top 5 right now. I don't really have no top 5. I like all defensive fighters, all guys who counter punch and things like that. So I just watch all those guys' highlights and film study. My fighter right now that's fighting is Canelo Alvarez and Adrian Broner. I really like Adrian Broner, but he doing his thing right now.
Man. That's my homie. On my I told you I play fight night. My fighter,
Yeah.
I'm putting on his robe. I put on goddamn.
That's one of my. That's man. He posted something yesterday. He was like, him in heaven. Hey, you bad as hell. How long you been dead? And then God said, "Hey, you gotta go, bruh. Like he's a funny guy. He real entertaining. And I really like him for his own charisma and things like that. And when he was blazing, he was really blazing. I feel like a lot of times they don't give him no credit, but that's a 4-time world champion. But we treat him like he didn't accomplish anything because of who we're comparing him to.
Yeah, I think that like ever since that one fight, then they started like kind of playing them weak. Medina,
the Madonna fight, but they don't understand. He fought at 147 once prior to that, and then fought one of the biggest punches in that weight division, who was somebody who was on a rise again because Madonna had changed trainers and was actually living right. Then he fought Adrian Broner, who coming up, he got all the confidence on the side, but he coming up, they have to deal with no adversity like that. You feel me?
Yeah. I'm saying you saying defensive fighters, so what you think about my favorite defensive fighter is James Toney.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. That's all-time favorites. James Toney, he's slick. He uses his body a little bit more than Floyd does in the shoulder roll. Like he staying there in the pocket more. He counter off a lot more too. Floyd uses his legs a lot more. That's the only difference is that James Toney gonna sit in the pocket with you right there and use angles, but Floyd can do the same thing, but he got his legs.
So how would you describe your fighting style?
I'm pretty much the same way as far as using my legs, but I feel like I use distance and timing is real good, and then I have real good reflexes. I like to use all defensive techniques though. Like recently, I was just learning how to do the former cross guard. Yeah,
he was fucking.
I was working on that. I'm trying to get cold with everything.
That's what's up. So I was actually, I was actually listening to this boxer last night. He was saying the right will win you titles, but the jab always win you the fight.
Yeah.
The jab.
That's one way you could put it. I feel like the jab is the easiest punch to throw, and it's the easiest punch where you can control the whole bout because you could box, you could use a jab and counter every punch that's thrown at you. You could catch a right hand, jab back, left, and it's like it's not hard to use. A lot of fighters shy away from it because they don't feel like it's effective. But the smart fighters, they use their jab and they use it in many ways.
Yeah. So describe an average day for you, like your training.
Average day for me, I wake up in the morning, go for a run on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I go for a run, or it's either I'm doing long distance or sprints. Come back home, hot Epsom salt bath. Then I'll chill out till I go to the boxing gym. After my boxing training, I'll do another Epsom salt bath and call it a day. Before, when I was part of the Army program, I was working out 4 times a day. And I feel like that was killing my body because I would do my 2 Army workouts. I'll have to wake up at 8 o'clock, go to strength and conditioning, come back at 3, do a boxing workout. Then I'll go to the gym again and do another boxing workout with a different trainer. And then I'll go to 24-hour fitness and do a run or something like that as far as cardio. And I did that ongoing for about 1.5 years. And I feel like that burnt my body out. So now I'm taking a different approach. I'm trying to save my body. So I'm only training once a day right now. But I'm still getting the same results and I'm feeling a lot better. And I'm not having anything like that.
Yeah,
I'm not running.
I actually just talked to Austin Trout and Brandon White. Austin Trout was saying the same thing. He was saying, like, especially like younger boxers, they be wanting to go all out with the training, but you kind of got to pace yourself, especially you're going to stay at it for a while.
Right. And I seen that the hard way because I was ranked like top 3-4 for like the first few years. I joined the elite division, and then towards the end when it was time to make the trials and stuff, it was like I lost a close decision. Bruce Currington, he made the Olympic team actually for my weight class. I lost a split decision to him, and then after that, it's kind of like my body kind of like went backwards on me. I was getting I had to use a tape on both legs. I was getting shin splints, elbows, yeah, all falling apart. But I after I didn't make the Olympic team, had to regroup and got my mind right, and now I'm ready to turn professional. I'm being smart about everything I do, taking a better approach.
That's why I like that. I was telling you about that virtual game. I like it because they actually got a heavy bag on there. Cause I know, like, you know, sometimes your damn wrist be hurting off that heavy bag. You using it all the time.
Yeah, like a lot of people be burning out their hands and everything like this. It's crazy how much we beat up our body, and a lot of times we kind of like, wow, we'll be all right tomorrow. We'll ice it and be all right, but it adds up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I heard you say the Epsom salt baths. How you learn about those?
So I learned about the Epsom salt baths. I don't even remember who told me that, put me on game, but thank you, because making weight is easy when you take a quick Epsom salt bath. Like, for example, I could wake up one day at 39, and then I take an Epsom salt bath, and I could lose like 3 pounds in 30 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah, about 3 pounds, and then I go to the boxing gym, lose 3 more pounds. Then I come back and take another Epsom salt bath and lose 3 more pounds.
What is it? The salt doing that?
It's taking that water weight out you, but you keep the thing is nowadays a lot like sports science is starting to get so advanced that they telling us to drink more water, because back in the day a lot of guys wouldn't drink too much water and they'd dehydrate themselves, but now what we do is we drinking gallons of water, putting all this water in us, and then we eating less, but at the same time we staying hydrated, and that's where that stops the brain damage that we have a lot of fighters come across. So the Epsom salt, they just take the water out you that you've been drinking all day. So if you drinking a gallon of water by the time, and you weighing 140 pounds, by the end of the day you could be weighing anything from 135 to 132. Right? It's easy. It's starting to get like, they really breaking it down if you like do your research and things like that. Because I see it nowadays, like, I don't know, you remember last year, a lot of fighters, like, how many fighters lost their lives? Like 3 or 4 fighters.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 fighters, they lost their lives, and I know a lot of it has to do with being dehydrated and not rehydrating properly.
You be taking ice baths and shit? I be seeing that now.
Hell nah. I don't mess with them. I don't mess with the cold from Miami, and I hate being out here in Colorado, man.
Oh yeah, it's cold out there right now. I saw that.
Man, it started snowing on Monday, and then the sun was out Tuesday. I was like, this weather acting like a woman right now, flipping modes.
They'll say, I'll ask you, are you trying to what's your plans right now? Like, are you trying to go to Olympics still, or you finna go pro soon?
So my plans right now, I'm ready to turn professional. My whole goal of joining the Army and boxing for the Army was just to gain as much experience as possible before turning professional. So I feel like you can't accomplish greatness until you be a pro, because you see Vasali, he did all that in the amateurs, and he took that L in the pro, and it's like, it don't matter what you did in the amateurs. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So with me,
his shoulders messed up though.
Say it one more time.
He's saying he had shoulder surgery. You talking about Lomachenko?
Oh, that sounds like an excuse to me.
Yeah, that's my whole thing.
I don't like excuses.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. I just be looking at it sometimes. Like, if it's a big fight like that, why would you go into the fight injured? Because you remember Manny Pacquiao tried to say that too with Floyd. So it's like, why?
Yeah, and then and then he got it's crazy. A couple guys start suing Manny Pacquiao for that comment. And he went back and said that and then they found a picture of him in some saltwater scuba diving, and he said the saltwater healed his shoulder or whatever. But they sued him for that because a lot of people put a lot of money on them guys fighting at that level.
Yeah.
So you doing that, you jeopardizing somebody else's money because these guys betting on you, but you're not even 100%. But you disclosing this information from the Nevada Commission. Yeah. So he got to be careful with that. I feel like that's an excuse. Like, don't cop out. Like, a younger fighter beat you that day, It was all about strategy. When you came on strong, but by then it was too late. The fight was too far off.
I didn't think that score was that score though. I thought that score was off.
I thought it was about 7-5.
Yeah, I'm saying that shit was one of them scores was crazy. It was like
That shit was 11-1.
But I'm saying, how do you think? I think like it's still like a lot of still like even back in the day, you know, you can go back old school. It's always been a lot of politics and shady business in boxing. So how you navigate around that? I think one reason is like that because they are. It's kind of like the people they get is always like you kind of like it's the poor. It's always like the people from the hood. So you kind of like take advantage of the fighters from the hood. It's kind of like just like college sports a little bit. I see it.
I feel like I feel you on that because the best athletes are the ones that work harder, who got the better work ethic, and that stems from basically coming from poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And only guys like we hungry. You come from the project, you come from nothing, so you're gonna be a lot more hungry than the guy who waking up and he driving a car to school. When guys from the projects, we walking to school or taking a bus. You feel me?
Yeah, I remember Pacquiao was saying he used to fight for rice.
Yeah, like things like that. Like that breeds champions. Honestly, Bernard Hopkins said that you're not gonna get no champion from the suburbs too often.
Right.
Right. So I feel like with the politics part, I feel like it's so much money involved in the sport that's what that comes into play. Like you got the fighters whose money's involved. You got the supporters, the fans, commutators, and you got the promoters putting their money in too. So if a promoter, the promoters get the judges and things like that. So of course, if you're the promoter's fighter, the judge is gonna be a little swayed in your favor if you the favorite. Like you the promoter's fighter, and the promoter brought these judges in to judge the fight. You feel me? So in order to get over that hump, you got to beat those guys, clearly beat those guys, and still sometimes that's not enough. But you can always find a positive in every situation, and say you don't get the right decision, right? But everybody demanding for a rematch. So now you made some good money off that fight. Now you get a second fight, you gonna make better money. So it's just like you just try to take the positive out of everything.
All right, man. Shit. So what else? What's your interest outside of boxing?
So outside of boxing, I'm modeling also, do the modeling thing. And then once I start making good money with both, I want to transition in real estate. I need some property. I'm trying to buy some property and get somebody to rent it out and things like that. I just want to keep building a legacy for myself and create generational wealth.
Oh yeah, you see who I got? Let me see if you know who that is.
Right there, that look like Jack Johnson.
Yeah, that's the GOAT right there. I had to put the OG back there.
Man, I'm sharp out here, man.
Yeah, he was cold though, man. Like they don't really talk. I was kind of like, I mean, I guess I was glad they did that pardon, but that shit was so long after he died. I was like, whatever. But man, that was a bad motherfucker, bro.
Man, that dude, he knew who he was, and he wasn't taking nothing less.
Yeah, he wasn't taking no shorts, boy. That motherfucker was bad. I just wish I was around when he was. They said he was so bad. Every time he win, they go try to lynch somebody, bro. He had a man like that. They go lynch somebody every time he win.
Man, I read something where it said one time he got pulled over for speeding, and then he gave the dude double the money and shit because he gonna continue speeding.
They said catch me on the way back. Come on the way back,
right?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's something funny. Like that's some Mayweather shit right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of, you a fan of hip hop?
I am, man. I really don't respect the music business because them dudes be having crazy talent.
Oh yeah. No, it's funny, man. This shit is so like life. If you think about life, it's weird because it's like the rappers want to be the athletes, but the athletes listen to the rappers for inspiration. So it's like
right, we both want to switch spots because it's like if you really pay attention to it, all like rappers and stuff, they want to get accepted by the athletes the same way the athletes want to transition to the music game, because at the end of the day, when you get the support from the other side, you get bigger.
Yeah, so they be wanting that. They'll say, "Well, who your top five in hip hop?"
Top five. So I'm really like, don't judge me, but I'm really into like R&B a little bit more. But I like
who you like? Yeah, I like R&B too. You go R&B then.
Drake, that's one of my favorite artists. Then you got Party Next Door. Who else I be listening to? I always listen to Meek Mill. Like, he go crazy. Meek. That's our top 3 though. I ain't even got no 5. Like, other than that, like when I hear good music, I just make a playlist and then I just add it to my playlist every time.
Who you was saying about R&B?
Oh, R&B, like Party Next Door. That's one of them R&B guys. Like Daniel Caesar. Then you got this dude Gavion. He coming out with music. He was on.
My wife like him. I was like, I don't like his voice though. My wife like
Man,
him.
he got a whole different sound.
I know you do. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I was like, what's up that dude's voice, man? But he's like,
Yeah, he got different. Who else? I like I'm starting to like the Afro beats. This dude Burna Boy. Yeah, he nice with it. He got a song called Yay. And he got music coming on. That it's going crazy. Like he got the Afro beats going crazy. Like, and then I listen to a lot of my boys from back home. I got a homeboy who make music named Mike Rosier.
Mm-hmm.
I got a homeboy named A Low Key. Like they making music and putting out music on Apple Music already, and they haven't even been signed to anybody major yet.
What county you from?
I'm from Dade County,
Oh,
Miami-Dade County.
You ain't so you ain't associated with Ross know how? Ain't he from Dade County?
I like Rick Ross. Like, of course, I was just like calling out my favorites. But if I want to get it, hopefully, once I start making a name for myself, I get embraced by Ross and Kodak and all these guys because I want to have that Florida energy in the boxing because I don't feel like that's really in boxing right now.
What's your boxing? What's your nickname?
GDFE. That's my goal in boxing. I want to go down as the greatest defensive fighter ever.
Okay. Oh yeah. I mean, I was gonna say that, man. Cause I said you gonna be a model, man. I mean, you gotta keep the face straight.
Can't get hit, man. I gotta be smooth, man. I gotta be smooth. I can't be out here getting beat up.
I mean, but
Can't
shit,
do it.
to me, I mean, that's why I love Floyd because I think that's what you gonna box and like you trying to make money. Shit, you don't want to be like to me like okay, like Ali. But look how Ali went out, man. You don't want to go out like that. You want to be intact when you quit boxing. You don't want to go out and like brain disease and brain damage.
But you know it's crazy that it's I heard something. I don't know. I was reading something, and I heard it also that they feel like Ali got injected with that disease when he went for like a flu shot or something like that. Got injected with Parkinson's. The government did that to him, but
ain't no telling, man. But even they messed them up because it was like, well, they go Ali right there.
Right, with the Superman on poster.
Yeah, they messed him up because they took them years from him when he went boxing. He had to get that money back, so he probably took some fights he didn't have to take. He didn't supposed to be boxing when he was boxing Holmes. He supposed to been done by then.
Right, and it's crazy too because you see it so much in the sport that all the people who are around you, right, who don't really do anything for you and your benefit, they still need you to fight so they could keep getting money themselves. You understand?
Yeah.
So I was listening to an audiobook by by 50 Cent. He was saying that basically nobody's will tell Floyd like to save his money or anything like that because every time he fight, it was a payday for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So what they kept doing is letting them buy all these things and all that. Because then what Champ gonna have to do? Champ gonna have to go up there and fight again.
But
that's a payday. Right. And 50 was saying that in his audiobook. And I was like, damn, I ain't never really think about it like that. But how the people around you could just encourage you to keep taking these fights as well. Like, I'm pretty sure people around Ali was like, oh, man, that's an easy $5 million. And, they boosting his confidence of like, oh, Holmes can't mess with you, like, things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, like, I be looking at it like, I don't know, man, like, you go back in the day, you know how they had it like gladiators? So it's really like gladiators, and it's really like, once y'all done, even in all the sports, like MMA, pro wrestling, it's like once y'all done with it, just like fans don't care no more. They on to the next, but then bodies broke up. Do they have insurance or anything like that? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like They don't really have no health care for the fighters and stuff. So I think they need to start coming up with that because like we can't be using these people for entertainment. Then when they get fucked up, oh, whatever. fuck him, he fell off. You know what I'm saying? He fell off because he was fighting that damn fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's a lot. You even see it with all these guys who passed away last year. Like,
yeah, people are dying out here. It's like it's really, I say it's some gladiator shit. It's like gladiators. It's like taking it back to Roman days and shit.
yeah, like fucking the Spartans and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like, motherfuckers dying and nobody like everybody feeling bad. Like inside the boxing community, everybody like they showing love to the person who passed away, and they put money in it, but we don't got no organization that's like, oh, here this, get this to the family and things like that. Because most fighters, they boxing and stuff like that for to feed their family.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Speaking of gladiator, actually one of my peoples is the champ right now. But what do you think about that bare knuckle boxing?
I never really sat there and watched a fight yet.
Man, that shit looks that shit kind of scared me because it's like you get cut so quick, man. It's like first round you already cut up. Like I'll be
For real?
man, that shit's so raw, man. Cause it just it's only
I heard
3
they get
rounds.
paid. They get paid good money though.
Man, I don't think they get paid like that. I gotta see how much they get paid, but I don't think it's like for how I mean. And then a lot of people, it's the MMA people and the boxers, but a lot of it ain't really like boxing. It's kind of like dirty boxing.
Right.
So you got to be like more like dirty boxing. So MMA, you know, they kind of do more than clinching and shit. So
yeah,
it ain't like just boxing straight win because bare knuckle is a little different than boxing.
like from what I heard about it, because I seen 2016 Olympian Nico Hernandez competed in bare knuckle boxing recently.
Yeah.
And I ain't even watch him or anything like that, but I don't know if for me to do something like that, they got to pay me some good money because I'm not gonna do it how these UFC guys, these guys, top fighters getting 100,000 as a main event. I'm like 100,000. You gotta these motherfuckers dodging kicks, punches, elbows, knees, and you 100,000.
But
And
shit,
then Floyd going there
said,
and make 40 million.
yeah, I guess they said 100,000, but it's only 5 rounds. Boxing is 12.
But it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minute rounds. Boxing is 3 minutes. It's a little bit longer, but also you got to see them UFC guys. They pimping them fighters.
Oh yeah.
They doing it worse than boxers do it. Because if you telling me you got like what Conor McGregor, he making M's in UFC, but he had to build to that, and he got the personality and the charisma and all that. But all these other guys, these dudes making 100,000 as a main event. That mean Dana White, he pocketing M's like on top of M's.
They do that shit. They doing that shit like, man, you would think ain't nothing going on with UFC because UFC doing
Them motherfuckers been
every
running.
week. Every week they got an island. They bought an island now and doing that shit on an island now. Every week it's a UFC event. I'm like, ah, damn, how they doing so many events?
I know how the motherfucking fighters ain't getting paid like that, so they getting all that money. And them fighters begging for paydays. That's why they do so many bonuses.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna say, what you remember? I was gonna ask you. You might not know though. Why you think they took remember back in the day used to be longer rounds in boxing?
Yeah.
Why you think it went down?
Oh, they said it in a few interviews and things like that when they first did it. It was a lot of fighters dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, them 15 rounds, like that 15 rounds was getting to fighters, and then they cut it down to 12. But I feel like you should prepare for 15. These days, you should prepare for 15 rounds. But even though it's 12 rounds, you should prepare like it's gonna be 15, so you could be in shape. Because really, half of the battle was staying in shape. Like once 90% of fighters, they don't stay in the gym year round and things like that. So you doing that, plus you nice with it, you gonna excel.
And then you were saying you want to be the greatest defensive fighter ever. So what's like? Just give me, cause I ain't no boxer like that, but I just in case somebody ran up on me, I want to be ready. What's some good defensive skills you can do to improve your defensive skills in boxing?
If you had like a basic level and things like that, I would always go to blocking first and blocking, because when you blocking, you see the punch coming, you just cover up, boom, right hand, left hand, you just cover up, things like that. Once you get it more advanced, you start slipping. When you slip, you want to slip to the outside of your punches. When you get even better at slipping, you can slip to the inside of punches and start catching guys, and then you can start countering in between shots and things like that. But it's all about reputation. The more reps you put in, the better you're gonna get at it. More when I go in the gym, I have like rounds where I'm going defense. Like I got a guy throwing punches at me, and I throw only like the jab once in a while just to keep him at bay and keep that distance. But just keep practicing every day, every single day. I'm working on that every day.
Man, what's the difference between? It be kind of sound like the same to me. What's the difference between a slip and a weave?
All right, so a weave is when you roll in under a punch.
Oh, like you duck under. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's more you can weave straight shots and hooks. You can't slip hooks though. You can roll with shots and things like that, but you basically slipping is really for when you want to counter. You want to get on right on the outside of a punch to counter back to the right with the right hand. If you want to if you slip in a jab side of the left side of a person's body, you can counter back with your right, and vice versa. If they throwing their own right, you can counter with your left.
Then do you throw the right uppercut a lot?
Only so when I be boxing southpaws, what I be doing is I go to they left hand, and then that opens them up. Like we both even at this point. But if I counter them, I can counter to the right uppercut easily because they body right there because I'm walking towards it. Like it's like a mirror and I'm walking towards it like this.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a lot of techniques involved, but once you get it down and you get first you get the basics down, and then everything else is like it's like juice. It's easy, sweet.
So your coaches right now are just the military coaches?
Right now, I'm not. So even though I'm in the Army, I'm not in WCAP anymore. So I use I work with Coach Ramos. He's part of the Army team, but he just worked with me on the side basically. And then when I get over to Las Vegas, I'm gonna have the same trainer as Danny Jacobs, Fareed. So he was in the Army as well, and he was actually on the 1996 team with Floyd. I'm sorry.
Who was Dave Jacobs' trainer?
For Fareed Salam, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he's Muslim. He just started working with Danny Jacobs like 2 or 3 fights back now, but he was on the same team as Floyd Mayweather. He was actually seen as the guy to be the best to make the best transition from amateur to pro on that team. He ended up going about 15 or 16-0 if I'm not mistaken, and then just stopped boxing. He didn't even lose. I guess he found something better.
Yeah, it get hard to keep doing that shit over all the time. Like it's a mental thing after a minute. It's a lot. Like Mike said, you gotta like it ain't really no off season in boxing.
And hey, yesterday I sparred like 5 rounds with a heavier guy. He had to be like a welterweight, and I did about I got to round 4 or 5, and I'm like, fuck, I'm exhausted. And my coach was like, 1 more, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, you just gotta embrace that suck. You feel me? You just like fuck, and he just be like, let me go to work, because at the end of the day, you don't know how the other dude feeling on the other side.
Yeah, you gotta keep
like just like what fight that was, and I think it was Ali was telling him to cut the gloves off like he was done with Joe. Matter of fact, it was Joe Frazier in the Thriller of Manila. He was like, man, I'm done. And Ali wanted him to cut the gloves, but Joe Frazier stopped before he did. Things like that. So you just never know what the other side feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of like like you training the body and stuff, but you also got to train the mind too.
Right, but I feel like once you in shape, the mind, everything else, that's the easy part to me, because the conditioning is like everything. Once you're in shape, a fighter that's in shape gonna give you a hard time because your body can withstand more and things like that.
Yeah, because once you start getting tired, that's when the mind start getting tired.
That's when
mind starts like, oh, I'm tired. Shit, yeah.
You like, man, you start breaking down. Even like you doing sprints or anything like that. Like when you're on 1 and 2, you like, oh, this easy. Then you get to like 7 and 8, you like, man, how many more we got? Like,
yeah. All right, man. I appreciate politicking with you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We gotta stay in touch in the future, man. When you get your belt, you gotta come on with the belt, like holding on the belt and shit.
And I'm gonna be on that motherfucker flexing like, like for sure. We gotta stay in touch. I'm on social media and everything.
Yeah, I think I already hit you up. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I follow your career too, man. Best of luck with everything.
All right, I appreciate it.
Hitting
And
you
more
up next.
blessings.
Yeah, what's your social media again?
My Instagram is Daniel Bailey Jr. _ And then on Facebook, you can find me at Daniel Bailey. And on Twitter, you can find me at Daniel Bailey Jr. Just keep an eye out for me, everybody. And you keep an eye out for me. Your people, my people. So we basically peoples.
Yeah,
So
no
I know we'll
doubt.
be in touch.
Yeah, you got any shout outs?
Shout out to Coach Green. Shout out to everybody who support me and believe in me. And shout out to God for every opportunity because I'm blessed out here. PoPolitickin. Keep an eye out for me. I'm Daniel Bailey Jr., professional boxer who is on the rise.